So when it comes to big companies, it's clear how like the ecosystem plays. But when it comes to small type of companies, do you see the same dynamic as well, or is it just like part of like one as a big ecosystem?
Yeah, it gets trickier when you're a small company.
Right.
I'll tell you the biggest 20 technology companies that I spend time at
Right.
in the world, the Fortune 100, have it pretty simple. They have to build their own layer, which is the platform layer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Salesforce is less of a tool or a piece of software
Right.
than it is just a platform.
Right.
Where you have a number of developers on top of it,
Mm-hmm.
ISV, software
Absolutely.
companies, consultants, and a mix of 250,000 new people
Mm-hmm.
in that ecosystem. When you're maybe a mid-sized vendor or a small vendor, your ability to build a platform is pretty tough. Because on those 7 layers that I talked about, the 7 pieces of software you're going to buy, you might be layer 5 or layer
Right.
3. So what you have to do, without the ability to build your own platform layer,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have to compete and win in this Salesforce ecosystem.
Right.
But you're probably going to have to compete as well, maybe in the Marketo, Adobe ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to compete in the ServiceNow or the Workday ecosystem.
Right.
You're going to have to compete in AWS, Google, Microsoft. So we think there's about 20 super winners in this
Mm-hmm.
space.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're going to have to go and compete and win in Amazon for Business. Then you're going to have to compete in Alibaba. So one of the new jobs that's going to evolve for those around universities today is this idea of a marketplace expert.
Right.
How do you, from a B2B perspective, this is not B2C anymore, you're not buying off Amazon,
Right.
you're buying off Amazon for Business.
Right.
How do you get your mid-sized company, and this is a marketplace SEO job,
Mm-hmm.
how do you get on page 1?
Mm-hmm.
When you get a customer that comes in, how do you get to be that result? How do you get to be on Google on page 1? How do you get to be on the marketplace in page 1? And then go to maybe the 20 marketplaces you have to compete in
Mm-hmm.
and be on page 1 of every single one.
Right.
So there's an important piece of math here, is that there are 35 million permutations. If you look at the average buyer,
Mm-hmm.
they might be in one of the 10 lines of business, marketing,
Right.
sales, operations.
Uh-huh.
They will be in one of 297 sub-industries. I run a mid-sized clinic. It's not healthcare anymore.
Right.
I run a mid-sized clinic. Third is the geography. My mid-sized clinic happens to be in the United States. It's in upstate New York.
Mm-hmm.
Fourth is the sector, size, and segment of the customer. I
Right.
said I had a mid-sized clinic. It has 50 doctors.
Right.
So your experience in dentist offices or small hospitals isn't
Mm-hmm.
relevant to me.
Right.
I want your resume to exactly be that. And then fifth is the tech stack has 40 layers. So your expertise, I'm a head of marketing. I want to bring new patients in the door. So I don't really care about your security expertise or your
Right.
multi-cloud, hybrid cloud. All that stuff's great. I want to talk marketing automation. I want to talk lead passing, top of funnel. I want to talk marketing technology
Mm-hmm.
that's going to bring new patients in the door, that's going to stop me from getting fired next week. So
Right.
now, as that decision maker, and I'm going to go spend money on 7 layers of a
Mhm.
cake to go solve that problem, I want to get to a place with people in the room, and there's going to be an average of 5, that all have that on their resume. That
Mhm.
I've worked on these 3 mid-sized clinics in upstate New York in the last 6 months and got them from this many patients to this many patients, and the person we worked with didn't get fired.
Right.
So they're going to type that into a marketplace, that big
Mhm.
long paragraph.
Mm-hmm.
I run marketing, and they're going to type that into Google. In this new world, if you are a company trying to sell into mid-sized clinics, whether you're a software company,
Right.
whether a medical device company, whatever kind of company you are trying to get in front of that buyer, you're going to look at that ecosystem that gets built. So no longer are there 175,000 software companies.
Right.
There's now a tech stack with, let's say, 200 companies
Mm-hmm.
that build for mid-sized clinics. There's no longer millions of service providers, MSPs, VARs, system integrators, and everything else.
Right.
All of a sudden, there's maybe 100 that have that resume.
Mm-hmm.
So your world in the marketplace or the part of your transaction is to narrow the world significantly for people that exactly do what you do across those 5 vectors.
Right.
That's the challenge, and that's where ecosystems are taking shape now.
Right. So
In the past, you had a linear channel program,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody with a mid-sized clinic would type in your partner finder.
Yeah.
You'd send them to Larry in the white van, who's
Uh-huh.
2 miles away,
Right.
because your algorithm is to say, give me the closest
Mhm.
person. Well, nowadays it's not that. It's give me the person with mid-sized clinic, marketing, upstate New York, software, tech stack. Give me all 5 of those vectors. Give me the perfect 5 people, and I don't care if I fly them in and put them up at a hotel.
Right.
That's the resumes I'm looking for. And that's what I want the ecosystem and I want the marketplace to deliver for me.
Right. You're basically saying that everything is like getting more and more fractured or like customized, if you will, right? But at the same time, customers from their end, they don't want fractured solutions. They want complete solutions. They want someone to deliver to all of them, and this drives all of this like explosion of channel and kind of new type of channel. I found your argument that there used to be like 10,000 independent software vendors, and now it's like 100,000 after 10 years, and it's going to be 1 million.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, sure. So when I went through those 5 vectors,
right,
you know, the buyer, the industry, the geography,
right,
if I multiply all 5 of those together, there's 35 million iterations or permutations
right.
of specialty. So what's happened in the last 10 years is there were 10,000 pretty broad software companies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you click install, it installs on your PC or installs on the server and does something.
Right.
Today we have 175,000.
Right.
We're going to 1 million. And why is there 1 million? That seems to be a really big number. But it will be higher in the future because there's 35 million places you can write code for.
Mm-hmm.
And in today, there's no-code, low-code environments
right,
where you don't have to be a DevOps person. You don't have to hire a data scientist.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got some intellectual capital, if you know layer 7 of a mid-sized clinic, how to connect a couple of dots,
mm-hmm.
you maybe use a RPA, robotic process automation
right,
tool, workflow tool, doesn't matter. You drag and drop your IP into
mm-hmm.
technically quote-unquote software.
Right.
You go to GoDaddy, buy a $5 URL, you go to Fiverr and get a logo. For
mm-hmm.
$10, get your kids to set you up on social media over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
By Monday, you're an ISV.
Right.
You're the 175,001st ISV.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not a true software company because when you click install, there's no real install. It's not a piece of software.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of a workflow. And it's an invitation for that service company to come back and connect the dots for you
right,
with the 7-layer stack that you've actually chosen. So you're basically using software as a front end to
mm-hmm.
get opportunity as a service provider. It's another part of the ecosystem.
right,
To succeed in the future of marketplaces, you could compete with the millions of companies that do all types of things. Accountants and digital agencies and system
right,
integrators and born in the cloud and ISVs and SaaS consultants and all these kinds. There's 25 different types. But you could also build out your own IP into software, codify your
mm-hmm.
IP,
Mm-hmm.
and now you're participating with a 1-2 punch. You'll
right,
show up in the software category and you'll show up in the services category. And when that person with the mid-sized clinic comes in,
mm-hmm.
does their first search, you're going to hit twice on the first page.
Right.
Not only does this company have the resume to do what I want to do,
right,
stop me from getting fired,
uh-huh.
but they've got the software, it appears,
Mm-hmm.
for them to come in and do what I need them to do. It's repeatable. It's
Mm-hmm.
a playbook. It's a process-driven thing. So it's kind of this, we're seeing a morph of companies
right,
to become software companies just to solve those 35 million
mm-hmm.
problems.